morning everybody, and welcome to the channel. John here with Peyton Land Management. Today we're going to be building a ripper attachment for a KX057. We're going to be ripping up some cars that I have that I pick up on the side, and we're going to be taking some metal into the scrapyard. So stay tuned if you want to see some cars get ripped to pieces. I bought 3 attachments from a friend of mine about a year ago for my KX057. Unfortunately, the ears are not the same, so I'm going to cut these ears off and weld these ones on. This attachment originally fit a KX161, so I just cut the 2 ears off. I've ground down one side. I'll finish grinding on that one tomorrow. Then I'm going to weld those on, which are for the KX057. So I can use that to rip these cars up. There was a Mustang right there, and this was a Nissan Frontier. They're sitting in the dump trailer. All right, I just got this all ready. I'm gonna weld these ears on. I just need to measure out 9 inches in between, and then I'll measure out to make it even on each side. But see, this one I had to cut the ears off this to weld these ears on because the ears were for a different excavator. So now I'll be able to use this ripper once this is all welded up. All right, I bought a new welding helmet a couple days ago, and I just broke it today. See, this is the knob to tighten and adjust the back here. And see, I turned it left to loosen it, and it just totally broke this thing off. And see, this is the original Harbor Freight Vulcan helmet, and it's got the same thing here, but if you turn it to the left, it doesn't break it, so you can adjust it. And it'll, you can loosen it. But I broke this one. Didn't even really get to use it. So I gotta take it back. I know that's what you get for buying Harbor Freight stuff, but not everything's garbage, just this little piece. Because the helmet's fine, it works. I just can't adjust it anymore. So that sucks. Let's look at this one. It tightens and loosens. Mine would just, it wouldn't turn. All right, I have the ripper here. It's all kind of just tacked on there. I just wanted to make sure this was gonna work out, and it is. So I'm gonna take this back off. I'm gonna put it back in the little jig that I set up over here. And then I will finish welding it all the way. And then I will retest. Because when you weld stuff, you need to continuously measure between whatever you're welding, because if you're welding on here continuously, sometimes it'll go that way. It'll start to just kind of twist. So you want to weld a little bit, go to the other side, weld, the other side, weld, back and forth, back and forth. At least that's what I've learned so far doing these attachments. I pick up junk cars on the side just to recycle them for money. The only way I can do it is to rip them apart and send them to the scrapyard in pieces. This one was T-boned, and the guy just used some parts off of it for his Mustang. This one here, he needed the rear end of the transmission and apparently the back window because it's been cut out. The engine over here got a big hole in the bottom. So I don't know if that motor's good or not, but it's just gonna go to scrap. You don't really make money off the car bodies because they're lightweight and they're tin. But the engines and the frames and that kind of stuff, you make money off of because it's just a heavier steel. But these are unibodies, so they have no frames under them. So what we're gonna do is we're going to pick this car up, get it out of the way, pick up the next car, drain the oil out of it, drain the fuel, drain all the chemicals, take the battery out of it, and then we will rip it apart with the excavator here. And I am gonna be trying out the new ripper that I just put together. So the only way I make money off these cars is by ripping them into little pieces and throwing all the metal into the dump trailer. And then I take all the trash, like the plastic stuff like this, and I throw it into my dump bins over there. Now, I don't recommend anybody doing this, but it does get the job done. All right, now that the oil and the coolant and the fuel is drained out of this thing, we're gonna lower it down, see if there's any Freon in it. If not, then we will just start ripping into this car. I picked up 3 cars from a house that had caught fire. It's funny, both vehicles burned only up to this point. So this truck was fine up to this point. The van was fine up to this point. So the engines are completely fine and intact. That one I'm obviously not going to be able to get running. This one I should be able to get running. But I mainly just want to do compression test on that one. But it's complete. I don't think I can open the hood anymore. I don't think I can even get to the hood thing where you pull it. So now I'm going to rip the bed off of this truck, rip the cab off of it, try to get this engine to turn over, and then probably just pull the motor and transmission out of it, and then cut the frame in half, and then stack it with the other frames that I have over here. And then we might move on to the RV, get the engine out of it, rip it all apart, get rid of it. I used to be able to take these cars directly to the scrapyard with the title in a transfer form, but they don't allow us to do that anymore in California. So unfortunately, I have to rip these cars into little pieces in order to get any money out of them. Unless I want to sell the cars at Pick and Pull, but Pick and Pull doesn't really like to pay that much. They usually like to pay like $60 to maybe $200 per car, and that depends on what kind of car, what year, and the condition of it. And most of these cars, when I get them, they're totally junk, so Pick and Pull doesn't really want them. And I've called the Cash for Junk Cars that's out here, and they only want to pay $100 per car, and sometimes they don't even want to pay at all. So instead of doing all that, I'm just going to rip the cars to pieces and send them to the scrapyard. just took a load of scrap in. I made $254. Wasn't as much as I was hoping, but it is what it is. All right, let's see how easy it is to rip this car apart with a ripper. Exactly what I was planning on doing. See if we can get on top of the car here. Just so it quits moving. the coolant out of it. Right back into this thing here. Well, that's a wrap on today's video. I hope you liked it. See you on the next one.